Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to this week's Midweek Motivation. When my son was 2 years old, he went through this phase in which he was a bit fearful at night. While transitioning from toddler to little boy, there was a lot of times at bedtime that he claimed he was scared. But there was also a lot of times during that phase in his life that I would remind him of what we do when we're scared. That is, we pray. And even to this day, at 12 years old, he still knows the answer to that question. But there were many nights during that early phase in which I prayed with him before I left him for the night. However, sometimes I don't think that he was really scared at all, but we still prayed nonetheless. And if I didn't pray, then I knew that he would struggle going to sleep for the night. He also went through phases in which he had other fears, even though I may not really call them fears at all. For instance, I remember working in the yard one time and I was digging up this plant. And obviously the plant had a root on it. The root had been in the ground. And so as I dug that up and the root had been in the ground, it obviously had some dirt on it. Well, he didn't want to have anything to do with that root because of the dirt. Now, he didn't mind dirt and he didn't mind getting dirty, but you put them two together and it just didn't seem like it was something that made him comfortable. And so he was a little bit fearful of that. But some of our fears are not tangible like that at all. Some of our fears are mental fears that we build up so high that sometimes it's hard to get over. And I call those mirage fears. In other words, there's really nothing there that should prevent us from doing what we need to do, but we build it up again so high in our mind that we just can't get over it. And so with that in mind, I want us to look at this quote by Lewis E. Boone. It says, "Don't fear failure so much that you refuse to try new things. The saddest summary of a life contains three descriptions: could have, might have, and should have." Failure will oftentimes keep us from doing and trying new things. Maybe it's jumping down from a height that seems impossible, when in reality, it's really not impossible at all. I remember looking at the water from the diving board and thinking, that seems so far down, when in reality, the diving board is only probably about 2 foot or so from the water level. Or maybe it's jumping down from a branch that seems a lot higher than it is, but it's because we put that in our mind, and so it seems a lot more of an obstacle than it really is. Maybe it's not tangible like jumping into the water or jumping from a branch, but maybe it's jumping into a new career or even just moving. But the question is, what are you fearful of that you are building up when in reality, it's really nothing? You never know what may happen if you don't try. And so remember that quote, "Don't fear failure so much that you refuse to try new things. The saddest summary of a life contains three descriptions: could have, might have, and should have." Your could haves, might haves, and should haves may get the best of you if you don't try. So look at the reality and try something new. And so now it's your turn. What failure have you been fearful of that's prevented you from even trying? Have you been able to overcome it? If so, how? Leave your comments. Hey, God bless, and have a great week.